Here, come back.
Mic test, mic test.
Mic test, mic test. 3, 2, 1.
Aduh.
Hehehe. Yo.
Okay. No, crack not. Okay.
Why you don't put mirror first? Your screen like very hard to navigate if it's not mirrored.
And what's up, you guys? So today we have Zach here, and there's a story, and that's the reason why I came to Putrajaya.
Yeah.
To be honest, I sacrificed my right day today just for Zach because I think there's a story to tell, and Zach is the perfect person to tell everyone, which is, which is, you have actually, okay, by the way, a background about Zach. Zach, can you please tell everyone your experience cycling? How long have you done it? And you know, what was your experience when you first do it and now?
Okay. So hi everyone, Zach here. Okay, thank you Melvin for interviewing me today. So actually I started cycling when the pandemic hit. So at that time it was already mid of the year, mid of 2020. Hey everyone, Zach here with my first vlog. So since this is my first vlog, let's try my first video, which is introduce my bike. But before that, let's ride. And I got a first bike during that period of time, which is actually a mountain bike first. I'm so newbie.
You started from mountain bike?
Yeah, I started from a very cheap sub 700 mountain bike only. Yeah.
People who actually do mountain bike are very strong road cyclists. Right?
No lah.
Very short bursts of power.
No. Actually, I was just a cheap mountain bike because at that time I just want to start cycling at a very budget way. So during when I went into a local bike shop nearby my house, he is selling this cheap mountain bike which cost me around 700 ringgit only, which I think is a very good startup.
So that was your first bike, 700 ringgit bike?
Yeah. That is my first exposure to cycling. And then at that time, when I start first, it's in Kesas Highway. So that's my training ground.
Chop! Hey, take selfie here! Man! Hey, if everybody know, Carmen did her first Powerman way.
Yeah!
And she only started cycling 7 months ago, is it? 8 months ago?
Less than a year. Less than a year. August.
Mad respect. Okay, go away.
Get lost. Back to where I started. Actually, I started from Kesas Highway. I believe a lot of people know Kesas Highway.
Oh, so you started Kesas with mountain bike?
Yes, Kesas with mountain bike. And at that time, I was so curious. How come some people can cycle so fast than me? I was like doing 20 kilometers per hour only on a mountain bike. Then people like motorbike. Oh. So I was so determined to get another bike, and then which I got a road bike. First road bike that I purchased, which is my Cam over here.
Okay, go.
So here is my first road bike. Believe it or not, this is my first road bike, the exact model that I have right now. So this is Cam, a China road bike, with China group set. But most importantly, is Sora, Shimano Sora over here. So I believe some of you might have seen it in my channel, or those that follow my Instagram, you will see this bike, the OG bike that started it off. Yeah, and right now this bike is already sold to... Oh, sorry boss! So this is my first road bike that I got, and I've been using it ever since until early of 2022. Yeah.
So it's an aluminium bike. What's the weight of this bike? I have a weighing scale. There's a focusing point. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? 9 point what? 9.4.
9.5.
9.5.
9.5 plus minus.
Tired.
I trained with this bike for about almost 2 years actually, since end of 2020 up until 2022. For 1 year and 2 years.
If y'all didn't know, when Zach started doing YouTubing, I was so intrigued. Because the difference between Zach and me is this: I've been cycling for almost 7 years. Yeah. I did Hantu and I was quite okay with it. So when Zach did Hantu, when I watched his channel, he stopped halfway.
Yes. So at that time, I stopped halfway with this bike. It's so damn heavy. But eventually, with determination, just push bike and plus climbing up all the way. Steady.
Mad respect. On a 9.5 kg bike, aluminium.
Yeah.
Okay, then after that, what's the next bike?
So the next bike I got after this camp is actually a Polygon. Huge thanks to Polygon. At that time, they start to notice my channel and my Instagram. They approached me and they offer me a Polygon Stratos S5D.
Which is an aluminium bike.
Yes, which is also an aluminium bike, but way better than this camp bike.
Okay, so I think how heavy was that bike? I believe you still would remember.
It's around 8.5, 1 kilo lighter. But after that, I changed it to another wheel set. The weight is around 7.9 or 7.8 like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, here's where it becomes interesting. When you had your Cam China bike,
Yeah,
with no disrespect to Cam,
yeah,
China bikes, especially China technology nowadays, are actually pretty advanced.
yes,
And the QC also has improved a
Over the
huge
years.
leapfrog. For the
Yeah.
past, I think 2-3 years, they really have improved so much.
yeah.
If you compare Cam with the Polygon aluminium bike,
Yeah.
without being biased, I know partly you're sponsored by Polygon,
Yeah,
but without being biased, what is your point of view? Is it a worth change?
it's a worthy change to be honest. But actually, if you all want to start cycling, I believe everybody wants to start cycling. I don't think we can afford or afford so big cash. Like 5K, starting 5K with a bike which you don't know whether you like the sports or not. So actually Cam was only like 1,800 ringgit at that time. So that is actually a sweet spot for me. That I just
1,800.
yes. So it's actually very cheap, affordable for me to test whether I love the sport or not. Then after that, when I reached to Polygon, I was like so surprised of the benefit that I get. Of course, you can't compare the price range, but I think we still need to give credit to Cam for helping me to train heavy bike.
This is where I want to add one thing. As much as people don't like China bikes, China goods, China technology, if you ask me personally, the modern bike industry, especially the continental brands like Trek, Specialized and all, they should give China brands
A chance.
not a chance, a deep, big respect.
Yeah.
It is because of them, they make the price of bikes so available for starters and beginners. They bring more community into cycling.
Yeah, I agree actually because with cheap China bike right now, so regardless of brand like Cam, Gusto, then another brand coming Twitter, Java, and so all these brands are actually the one that kickstart the interest or the love, passion to cycling. I've seen a lot today. Right now we are in Powerman, right? So I've seen a lot of Twitter bikes, some that even go faster than me, to be honest. So it's all about the leg. Of course, the performance is like you can still gain performance from an expensive bike, but with entry-level bike, you start to train itself already. There's a certain training to cheap heavy bike.
So, mad respect for Chinese brand bikes, group sets and all. It is thank you China for making cycling
so available for the
for
newbies
everyone.
or the one that want to start cycling. Yeah.
So but if let's say I have a China brand bike, aluminium, is it worth actually even going for a branded bike aluminium? Is it actually worth it?
From a China aluminium to another aluminium.
Yeah.
From China aluminium to another aluminium, actually you still can gain a performance. For me, brands like Polygon, they are offering the bike that I get, the S5D. It's actually very nimble. It's
Around 5K, eh?
below 5K actually right now. It's below 5K. So it's white color S5D aluminium, but if you can swap it with a carbon wheel set, the bike is good. Actually, it's very good. I've done review actually. Maybe Melvin can link
I'll
down.
put the link.
Yeah, so it's a good starting point.
So at the end
actually.
of the day, aluminium bikes, even though all aluminum bikes, I think there's no one same aluminum bike from different manufacturers.
Yes.
Okay, so after your Polygon, what is it? S5?
S7D. We have the bike here, the red color one.
This is one of Zach's bikes that he has actually tested as well.
So this is another bike that I used to own before I passing down to my brother. So it's a Polygon S7D. Comes with a Shimano 105 group set, hydraulic disc brake. So at that time, if you can get it from Rodalink, it's actually come with a aluminium wheel set, but this one has already been swapped to a carbon wheel set. And then the other modification includes power meter, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, G. But now we're going towards the carbon arena.
Yeah, so this one bike? Right now is a carbon bike with a carbon wheel set from Mergin. Huge thanks again to H2C Malaysia for hooking up Mergin wheel set.
And let's do it! It's not too heavy.
8.5.
Hey, don't hold. 8.5, you're right.
8.5.
Okay, good. So you're talking about aluminum bike from cam to this, the 1 kg difference.
Yep.
Okay, so now that you went from a 1,000 ringgit bike to a 4,000 ringgit, how much is this? This is about what, 7, 8?
6,000 plus.
Below 7.
Below
7,000.
Below 7 without not with the carbon wheel set, just a default.
So was it a worthy upgrade from your 3,000 ringgit bike?
Okay, from aluminium to carbon, I can feel the difference in terms of efficiency, especially on power transfer. So what I mean by that is because sometimes if you train a lot, then once you can produce certain amount of power output, you will start feel flexing on the bike. Of course, newbie, you won't feel it, but if you constantly push it, you definitely will feel the flexing. But once you convert it to carbon is much more stiffer compared to aluminium.
Makes sense.
So I can't feel the flexing, and this bike is really good for climbing actually. It's an all-rounder bike, but I feel it very comfortable, especially on the climb.
Even though it's 8.5 kg, it's still good on the climb.
Yes.
So weight is not everything.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
Okay, now comes to the main event.
Yeah. So again,
next bike.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Liran Malaysia because for allowing me to try all these bikes. Here is the current bike that I'm using, which I will use up until Perak Triathlon.
Okay, so let's do this again. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the Helios bike.
This one is Polygon Helios A7X. Comes with all new Polygon, come with all new Shimano 105 Di2 group set. Di2 105 over here. Yeah, 105 Di2 and a all new 105 crankset, electronic FD and RD. And I equipped this bike with a carbon wheel set from Hyper. Yes.
Look at the paint job, man. Look at the paint job.
Fun fact, this Hyper is actually, the sticker is actually matching color with the Polygon logo.
Fancy,
so you have a glittering rainbow effect. So this is also the bike that I use for today's event, Powerman. And I can tell this is magnificent bike. Out.
Oh, so much lighter. Oh my goodness.
8.3-ish. 8.3-ish.
Oh.
8.33 kilo. 200 grams.
I can feel that 200 gram difference.
200 gram difference. Yep.
Oh, it is 200 gram difference.
With a 60 millimeter.
Badly stiffer.
60 millimeter hyper wheel.
Look at the bottom bracket, we're crazy.
Yeah, the bottom bracket is the one that makes all the difference comparing to Polygon Stratos. So this bike is actually an classified under aero bike. And for this bike, over to the S5D, actually is only on the sprinting part and the speed, maintaining cruising speed for flat road. As I said earlier just now, this bike, the only difference that I can feel compared to the S5D and S7D is the sprinting and also maintaining cruising speed on the flat road. Other than that, climbing, this is actually much more steeper, but I find comfort better on S7D.
So actually, again, all of you might not know, actually S7D is an amazing bike if you are going for long distance.
Yes. So for S7D, I did endurance ride before with it, Audex 200 km with carbon. So that is very comfortable bike. Compared to this one, the only longest distance I've managed to clock in with this bike is 120 kilometers, which is to Malacca.
Wow.
But after that, I can feel soreness. Because it's very stiff.
Yeah. It is very stiff.
It is very stiff. So in terms of stiffness, when you pedal, when you, especially sprinting, you can feel a bit of power transfer very efficiently. In terms of sprinting, this one, the bottom bracket is very, very huge. So the so it's very, very efficient. Very efficient. Yeah. So yeah. So then somehow, if by default, this bike costs about I think around 14,000 ish.
So it's 14,000 ringgit.
Yes, 14,000 ish.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you this very simple question: the price of a bike, is it worth paying? Does what you pay really what you get? In terms of not just performance, comfort and feel, are there difference?
Okay, but coming from a newbie, actually to be honest, I used to have this concept that expensive bike is not really worth it because it's overpriced. But once I get to try bikes like Polygon, they offer me few bikes, then I would say, yeah, it's definitely worth it if you care about the marginal gains.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you are just starting out, I believe 100% confirm you won't feel the difference, because when I use cam bike, I totally cannot feel the difference if I straight away jump to Polygon bikes. I can't tell the difference, but once I train with it, then
and once you do endurance rides,
yes,
long rides, different road conditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So after experiencing all those different types of ride, then you start to feel difference on different types of bikes and the feeling, and also the performance that you can get from the bike.
So it does make a difference.
Yes,
I think in terms of bike, what you pay is what you get. It's also it's not entirely true in terms of it's a steep curve.
Yeah.
I think it's cheap bike performance here, slightly better bikes I think it's a steep curve.
Yes.
But when you go to the 20k and above bikes the curve starts to flat.
Yeah.
And it's really.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know about for you, but for me, right, the difference between let's say 4,000 ringgit bike and a 10,000 ringgit bike is really heaven and earth to a certain extent.
Yep. Agreed.
Or even 15,000 ringgit bike. But once you hit the 20k and above, you're going towards luxury with the very marginal gains.
Yes.
That's my point of view.
I believe we all have mutual friends, right? Like Daniel and other bikes friends. They also feel the difference compared to expensive bikes and the cheap bikes. There is a marginal gain, but it's whether you are willing to spend on it or you want the luxury of the marginal gains, then yes. So, but my advice, I always stand strong on my advice will be, if you are just starting out on cycling, you don't need an expensive bike to start up. You can always buy a bike that fit your budget.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to spend just to jaga muka lah. Some people they really spend bike to jaga muka, but I don't think it's the need there is for that lah.
Actually, there's no harm, you know. What you say is correct, because if it's me, right, if I will start cycling, I'll probably spend, let's say, 2,000 to 3,000 ringgit. Yeah. Find a second-hand bike, whatever bike.
I think Melvin used titanium bike before, right?
Yeah, and I bought for 8,000 ringgit.
Yeah, so it's actually very cheap.
If you buy a bike that's cheap, just to try, and you do 20 km, then you like it.
Yeah.
You can always use that bike as a trainer.
Yes.
Because when you get serious, honestly, it's good to have two bikes, one on the trainer and one to actually use it.
Yeah, actually I agree, yes.
And because the bike that you use it, occasionally they might have problems, at least you have a backup bike.
Yes, spare bike.
Because when you're serious, 1 week don't ride, hey, weird feeling.
Yeah, Melvin just recovered also. He definitely will feel weird also, right?
I feel weird. I just did 60 km today outside, I suffer.
Yeah, so that's actually something very interesting for the difference of bike.
So aluminum bike versus carbon bike, is it worth the price? Yes or no?
Yes. But with a catch.
What's the catch?
The catch is, if you can produce more power, then only it's worth it. But if you don't, I don't think you can feel the difference.
And I also think you need to buy a decent carbon bike.
Yes.
Not all carbon bikes are built the same.
Yeah, agreed.
4,000 ringgit carbon bike, I think better buy aluminum bike lah.
Yep, Polygon S5D maybe.
Yeah, but if you're going towards a 8,000 ringgit bike, you can start to consider carbon.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
like the one.
And okay, next question is this. Aluminum versus carbon, you feel carbon's worth it?
Yeah.
Next question. 3,000 versus 7,000, is it worth upgrading? If it just got serious, is it worth upgrading?
If it got serious, yes, definitely.
Do you feel that a 7,000 ringgit bike is easier to ride 100 km than a 3,000 ringgit bike?
Yes, I definitely feel a difference. Actually, I've done Audex both with cam, the original cam, my OG bike, That one I did Odex 200 kilometer. I tell you, the experience was totally suffering. I can't be in front of the peloton or my group. I just be the backup person behind, trying find every inch of way to draft people. But once I start to upgrade to carbon bike, or in terms of comfort, in terms of how easy, how smooth the bike performs on the road, and how far I can go. And I can definitely feel the difference. It's worth it lah, if you really got serious onto cycling.
So now the best bike you have used is a Helios. Is it worth it?
Worth it. For 105, yes. Di2.
That's all folks, that's all for today. And last question, should we save mechanical group set?
Yes. Actually, it's yes. I have one experience, you know, I need to tell Melvin. Last week, I do a chill ride to Bukit Tengku. Imagine your Di2 ran out of battery. Crap! So having a mechanical group set is still an advantage over Di2, which is if you forgot to charge your battery.
And I think also, I mean, that's just human error lah, but I think
Yeah.
also, I still feel that mechanical group set, especially for 105, will make entry point bicycle cheaper, allowing
Yes.
people to buy quality group sets on
Yes.
a bike that's maybe below 5,000-6,000 ringgit.
It's all about expanding the community.
That's all folks, thank you Zach for your time.
Thank you, Melvin.
God bless everyone and take care.
God bless.
Share, like, subscribe. To Zach.
To Melvin.
Ciao.
Ciao. Woo.